Islands without him. Can he then come in and command that? Will that need to grow? I'm not sure. But from Leeds, the woe of Wolves. Sorry, let's talk about a bit more about Leeds, and let us know what Rich Wilkinson had to say.
Yeah, he said, awesome win for Leeds. 1-17 played really well in a game when we physically battered Wire for the first 20 minutes. Wire never recovered, and Leeds kept them on the back foot for the whole game. Let's not get carried away, however. This Leeds team is different. We have structure in attack and defence. With a good blend of youth and experience, Gale has brought control that has been missing for too long. #MOT.
Cutthroat. Thanks for him for celebrating that my car passed its MOT this week, Rich. Thanks for that. Cutthroat Jake said, "What a match! All of Leeds were great, but who would have thought Myler would show himself to be the consummate professional jack of all trades? Where's he going to play next? Prop? ? I think that question mark's a massive one."
Yeah. To be fair to him, he can play pretty much any position, but I think second row prop. It wouldn't be for lack of trying, but there's lack of something else that I don't think you can fix quickly.
Yeah. Do you want to give us the last one?
Oh yeah. At Mike Dodd 22 said Leeds clearly watched the footage from our loss at Wakefield and decided to give the groundsman a week off. A good decision not to go.
Right, so let's cover something here, and definitely not a highlight moment in here was the awarding of Hurrell's try. I just don't know how that was given. The try assist went to Richie Myler because of the really decent pass actually that he put on for Hurrell to run onto and get on the front foot with that charge. But he should more get the try assist for the celebration that seemed to convince the touch judge that a ball that never got down had got down. But yeah, one of the standout moments from this game that sticks in my head was Brad Dwyer's cover tackle on Lynham. That was a fantastic defensive effort, and at that stage of the game, Wire weren't out of it by any stretch, and actually, I think it was Wire's first time that they threatened. They got their move right, and still someone came out of nowhere. And when you're in that situation, it's the winger against one man. You don't expect that man to be the hooker.
No.
But the enthusiasm from Dwyer and the perfect form tackle he put onto that play was a real highlight moment of this game. That then onto the Myler stuff that I talked about before, the general highlight of his emergence, his comeback, his moment of glory, or his moments of glory with the try and the assists. Other star players alongside Myler, I would say Harry Newman, and I'm going to say this almost every game. I thought Cuthbertson and Sayum Manafai were solid as well for Leeds, but Harry Newman is just a great kid to watch. Is really impressive. They talked about it quite a bit in the commentary, didn't they? But basically, the first time he got a run, he broke 2 tackles, and it's like, well, this is what the kid does. I don't want to get complacent with him because but I also don't want the bar to be set too high. But he's going right for every bar that you keep setting for him, the kid. So he's really impressive. And then also, even when he seems quiet in terms of not actually being the man who's completely tearing the defences apart, he wasn't the man delivering many of the final passes. He didn't seem to be the dominant player in terms of his role on the pitch, but he was the dominant man, really. Gale is quietly making a real difference to this Leeds side, and actually he did make a lot of key passes that put the guys in the right positions. It's just the guys did something special off the back of it, like Jack Walker's run was quite special, Richie Myler's line that he ran was very special, But what Rich says about Gale is he has made a real difference, and I know Cas fans were hoping he wouldn't. He has. I really think he has. And Leeds are a much more functioning side with the ball, with him in the side. Of course, in this game, they didn't have to worry too much about defence because they came up against a side that, once their one opportunity was snuffed out, seemed to not really know how to work together to put more attacks on, which is a big shame with that much quality in the side. We'll see if they can sort that out going forward.
Yeah.
The other thing to mention, I suppose, is the Ben Murdoch Masilla Simbin in. I thought, even though the Leeds player was it Alex Mellor was slipping into the collision, it was direct head contact, and I think even with the slipping into it, the best way to address that was a Simbin. I think they've ruled Simbin sufficient on that one when it's been looked at by the judiciary, and I'm guessing the slipping of the opponent was a big factor in that. But yeah, I think right call there by Hicks and his team of officials.
Yeah, that seems to work. I think it was one that was Simbin was about right. Anything
else for you to add on this one at all?
Leeds' kit, it's a bit odd.
That they had to play in their away kit?
Well, A, they had to play in their away kit, but B, it just looks... It looks like they're all wearing high shorts, doesn't it? They've all got the shorts pulled up from a distance.
But it's not the kit they were supposed to wear, is it? I mean, that was a crafty move by Wire, potentially, just turn it up in the kit you want to play in and to dictate what happens from there. But it didn't work out for them. Leeds were like, well, we'll show you, we'll play in any kit and beat you. Now, it's better than when they played in two kits and got smashed by Hull FC, so at least they stuck with one kit and went through the whole game with it. That's definitely a progress for Leeds. Right, shall we move on to Saturday's game then, the estimated attendance game that will
the game I was really looking forward to going to, yeah.
Yeah.
The game that would have been, had it been as originally advertised, one bus away from me. Instead, gets moved to Warrington, and only an estimated 4,000 people turn up. As it finished Toronto 0, St Helens 32, and Marcus Griffiths was the referee. In terms of team statistics, the Wolfpack were their own worst enemy, with 18 errors to 11, 9 penalties conceded to 7, went under 800 metres and under 90% team tackle success rate. Saints made over 500 more metres at an average of 1 metre per carry better average game, with 7 breaks to 2 for a comfortable win, as it did seem very comfortable for them. In terms of that Saints side, Seb Tyre running for 147 metres, making 5 offloads. Lou McCarthy Scarsbrook scoring a try and 126 metres. Tommy Makinson, 5 tackle busts, 118 metres. And Johnny Lomax chiming in at the end with 2 tries, 9 tackle busts and 2 clean breaks.
Yeah, Saints win and Johnny Lomax is man of the match. That seems to be the recipe this year.
Yeah, it's not hugely surprising. The definitely injured but still going on John Wilkin, making 67 tackles, 25 of those from marker because he's lazy, and that's the tied most since SLP started. And Andy Ackers making 46 tackles. So they had to do some tackling, but that's pretty much all they did do. We had lots of fan views on this one, however.
So Carsten got it started with, is it the ground, or why were the Wolfpackers shit as the Wire? Did somebody tell them they can't pass to the empty seats? The red card was correct, and I think Thompson will not get much love from McMahon on the next week. I guess he means McDermott. The only positive for Toronto was a serious critic by John Wilkin after the game, and Saints will really hope that none of their players are catching a cold in this summer rugby match.
At Sydney Kidney Fort said Toronto are going down quicker than Cheryl Cole in One Direction's dressing room.
Genghis Campbell said, absolute pig's ear of a performance. We were never going to win, but utterly appalling. Errors galore, possession under 40%, halves utterly devoid of creativity, and forwards anemic apart from Sidlow. Hoping better weather allows Scary Brian's lateral passing strategy to actually win us a game. Lussick and Stanley can't come back soon enough. Well, I just saw that Chase Stanley is in the country, so it looks like
which country
must be sorted, and that, like I say, that can't come soon enough. Having a player of that calibre back in the lineup might not change what's going on with the pack, though.
No, but does give them more options, and as much as anything else, gives them a body they're already paying for.
Yes, and a lot,
so,
I'm sure.
Yeah. Malkarma Teos says, bad food karma, all that poutine with maple syrup be the death of our old greats like Gigo, Williams and co. You would have think that the fresh Canadian air would be doing them good. Well, most of them won't have been yet. At least they're not eating English food. Oof. #Stodge.
Paul Chamberlain said, complete shit show. If anyone has any idea what the Wolfpack are doing or what style of play they are trying to implement, please let me know.
St David said, Saints didn't need to get out of second gear to beat a poor Toronto side whose game plan seemed to be to hand us the ball in their half as often as possible. Didn't even need to bring Big Al back. Shame about the injury to Bentley, who was playing well at left centre. Lomax pulled the strings in a man-of-the-match display. Smith continues to impress in rotation with Roby. Onwards.
A line on Aaron Smith. He picked up a grade A dangerous contact charge and a one-match penalty notice, so that must be his second grade A charge in the last 12 months, I guess. So he will miss a game. But yeah, otherwise, he continues to impress. Cav said, a Saints team playing walking rugby managed a 32-0 whitewash of a poor-looking, injury-stricken Toronto team. Was nice to hear Saints fans singing for Wilkin. Knowles is a brave man, starting on Sonny Bill, and Toronto need to put it behind them. I'm sure Mac will get them up for Thursday, and it could be a banana skin for Leeds, who lost last time the two met. Saints will take confidence from this and look to kick on.
Tom Andrews said, nice to see that Saints aren't being the wankers they were last year, fielding weakened team against the Whipping Boys. But if they want to against us, I won't hold it against them, as their big guys need a rest sometime.
And Martin finally, with a Wolfpack point of view, said the Wolfpack decided not to go set for Saints and stuck with the plan of no matter what, even running on the last tackle from halfway. Yeah, that was bizarre. Scoreline could have been a lot worse, and the only positive for Toronto was some good goal line defence. Saints coming off the World Club Challenge didn't have to play too well. Next, the only Super League ground Toronto have won at.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so that's harking back to a win in the old Super 8s a couple of years ago. But yeah, first thing to talk about on this one, Tim, before you sort of go through who performed well and what moments were good, we've got to talk about the sending off, which was absolutely the correct decision. But Bodie Thompson was charged by the match review panel with a grade A striking charge, a 0 match penalty notice. Obviously, he's not been up under a charge in the last 12 months to manage to get the low end of that range, because it could have been a one match if he had been done. Now, can we appeal these decisions, or is it just the players who can appeal if they don't like what they get handed out? Because I want to appeal this decision. His shoulder hit someone in the fucking head. And
in the same week, when someone tripping gets one match ban. So tripping is a one match ban offence, fair enough. But making direct contact with your shoulder to someone's head...
I was at the game and don't remember happening.
Whereas something that was worthy of a red card on the field, no, that's it. How's that work?
It just didn't feel like a grade A. And if it would have been just a grade B and he would have got a game and stuff, I sort of would have understood that, because there was a little bit of it that the player sort of got tackled a bit into his way, but it was definitely at minimum careless. But I'd go more with reckless, with how he got his body positioned into Matty Lees there in that situation. I'm just amazed at that one. I really am, and I'm looking forward to hearing Paul Cullen try and politically explain his way out of that on the sin bin this week.
Bore everybody just to tears, or will there coincidentally not be one this week?
Just well, it's due, innit? It's the first week of the month, so it's due. What else stood out for you in this match then? Well,
I suppose that the crowd, as much as anything, we have to mention. Toronto. They were going on about how they were going to bring, but apparently they were asking for upwards of 30 quid for tickets, so it's not a surprise. But if you can't draw people to a game against the champions,
well, it's difficult, isn't it? Because they're not drawing on their own fan base necessarily. It was switched, like we've talked about, Um,